Hi class, so today's lesson is present simple. Have you ever heard of present simple before? When and why do we have to use present simple? Okay, let's find out together. Present simple, the usage of present simple. So when we want to use present simple, when we want to talk about general truth, okay? General truth. So what does that mean? It means events or action that happen to be true or real. Let's look at the example together. So London is the capital city of England. London is the capital city of England. So is it a fact? Yes, it is. Or we can say, I live in Cambodia. It is a fact. I live in Cambodia, okay? So something that happened to be true or real. Yes. Number 2, we use present simple when we want to talk about habit expression. What does that mean? What does habit mean? Habit is your routine, is your favorite thing to do. So, for example, I always watch movies after school. See? So this is a habit. So we use habit when we want to talk about present simple, okay? Yes. And another part is we use present simple when we want to talk about a repeated actions or unchanged situation. Repeated action, what does that mean? So it means an action that happened again and again. Unchanged situation, yes, when an action that repeat again and again, it's repeated the same action all the time, okay? Yes. So let's look at the example together. I work in New York. It rains every morning in the fall seasons. I work in New York and it's rain every morning in the fall seasons. So over here, what is a repeated action? Rains, correct. And repeated action when? Every morning. So it clarified that every morning it's always rains, okay, in the fall season. So this is called repeated action and it's unchanged situation as well. Do you understand? Alright, let's move on. After we know that when and why do we have to use present simple, we have to know how do we have to use present simple. So this is sentence structures of present simple. Sentence structures for present simple first is affirmative form or positive form. So the sentence structure is very similar in very different languages. So it started with subject. Letter S is subject, and followed by we, which is verb. Verb is verb of present simple, okay? Or a lot of people consider as verb 1. And then followed by object, which is not very necessary, but it could be used. For example, she lives in Thailand. She lives in Thailand, okay? So she lives in Thailand is an affirmative form of present simple. Do you notice something different in this sentence? You see, verb lives with S. Why it add S? And when do we have to add S? So there's a lot of question coming up with this sentence, okay? So let's find out together. So the word with S and add S, let's see, what is it? It called a third person singular. Third person singular. So which means when subject of the sentence that is singular, verb that end, we need to add S at the end of that word. So for present simple, for affirmative form, when a subject is singular, verb need to add S at the end, okay? very often. Moreover, there's not only S, there's a more syllable or more consonant that you need to change. Okay, let's find it one by one together. First, word that end in S very often. For example, he wants, she needs. See? Add S at the end, okay? So he wants, she needs over here. Why do we have to add S at the end with this phrase or sentence? So he is a third person singular pronoun, okay? So he is a singular subject. So wants is a verb and need to add S at the end, okay? And she needs the same thing. She is a singular subject and need to add S. Alright. Moreover, for subject that is singular for present simple, verbs that end with Y, okay? End in Y, letter Y, okay? So you change Y to IES. You change Y to IES, okay? Got it? For example, study, okay? Study, you change to studies. You change Y to IES, okay? Or cry. So you change Y to IES for cry. Do you understand for that? Alright. So let's move on to another part of our third person singular. And also, exception is there is a vowel before the Y. You just add regular S. For example, play. So you add S to plays. Just add S at the end of that Y. Because A is a vowel before Y. So for that rule, you just add S at the end. Even though the end of that verb is Y. Do you understand? Alright, let's go. So, and also last one for subject that is singular, verb that ending in double S, X, CH, SH, you need to add what? ES, alright? ES. Okay, so for example, let's look at the example together. He passes. He passes. See? So pass is a verb and a subject of this phrase is he. So which means he is a singular pronoun. So pass is a verb. So you need to add ES in the end because of the word pass. The end of that verb is double S. Okay? Next is she catches. Alright? She catches. So at the end of the word catch is CH, okay? CH, so you need to add ES. And he fixes, see, letter X at the end, so you need to add ES. And it pushes, so pushes, SH add ES. Do you understand? Because he, she, it is the subject of singular pronoun, okay? So all of those verbs that end with SS, H, CH, SH, you need to add ES at the end. Only for present simple. Okay, so do you understand? Alright, great job. Alright, so let's move on to negative form of present simple. So what does it look like? Let's look at the slide together. So it starts with letter S, which is subject, and followed by don't or doesn't, and followed by verb, and then followed by object, okay? Yes. So over here, we need to notice this part, don't and do not. Don't is a short form of do not, okay? So you can use either one of them, okay? Both of them are correct. And doesn't is a short form of does not, okay? Doesn't is a short form of does not. So this is very easy for negative form, there's only add don't or doesn't, okay, to make it a negative. And don't, we use don't with plural noun and pronoun I, you, we, and they, okay, they. Doesn't, we use with singular noun and third person singular pronoun or pronoun he, she, it, okay, he, she, it, yes. Alright, so let's look at the example together. He doesn't sing. Why over here is doesn't? Do you understand this part? Because he is a third person singular pronoun and doesn't use with he because we have to follow a rule together. And next example is their parents don't watch TV. Their parents don't watch TV. So this part, why do we have to use don't? Because their parents, do you see it? The subject with s, which means the subject is plurals. Their parents don't watch TV. When the subject is plural, we have to use don't. Do you understand? It's very simple for negative form. Alright, so let's move on to our question form. So there's two question form in sentence structure of English. Number one is yes-no question. And number two is WA question. So let's take a look at yes-no question. What is yes-no question? Yes-no question is a question that need to answer yes or no. Okay? Very simple. Okay, let's take a look at the sentence question together. Okay. Question structure. It is started with do or does, followed by subjects, and followed by verb, and then followed by object. Okay? And with a question mark. And then it either answer yes or no. So which means yes, you need to add comma, followed by subject, followed by do or does, depend on the subjects, okay? For no, followed by comma, and no, comma, and then subject, followed by don't or doesn't, and it's depend on the subject again. So for do, if the subject is plural, we use with do. But for does, when the subject is singular, we use with does. Okay? And don't, the same thing. If the subject is plural, we use with don't. But if the subject is singular, we use with doesn't. Do you understand? Okay, so now let's take a look at our examples together. So number one, do you play games? Do you play games? So this question starts with do and you because pronoun you, I, we, they use with do, okay? Do you play games? So the answer is yes, I do because the question is you. So ask you and you need to answer I, right? Do you play games? Yes, I do. Subject pronoun I used with do, okay? Alright. And then question, example number two is, does he go to school every day? Does he go to school every day? So does and then followed by he. So this part, because of the subject is third person singular pronoun, so it has to use with does. Yes, does he go to school every day? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. See, doesn't use with no and doesn't use with third person singular pronoun he. Alright, and also remember in the question form, the verb it has to be verb of present simple. You don't need to add anything. You don't need to. And this verb, most of people call verb 1 or verb of present simple. Okay? Alright.